What is up, everyone? HumanAntagonist here with another video. Today we are going to be talking about how to start sidestepping. So Tekken is a 3D fighting game, which means you can there are more ways for you to avoid attacks besides moving backwards. So let's talk a little bit about sidestepping. Sidestepping is a lot of people, they first start out, right, and they're like, I'm having trouble with just basic things like moving around and sidestepping and things like that. But really, sidestepping is one of the most advanced parts of Tekken. It's actually pretty difficult to get. It's not that it's difficult to get a handle on, it's just that there are quite a few prerequisites. So I wanted to be helpful and make a video about how to start sidestepping. So obviously, how to start sidestepping, this isn't going to really be super in-depth, but first I wanted to talk about the types of sidestepping. There's basically two types of sidestepping. You've got offensive sidestepping and defensive sidestepping, right? So defensive sidestepping is hard. That is the one that is going to take you the longest to get a handle on. Defensive sidestepping means, okay, this character has this specific move, I want to step that specific move. Case in point, Jin's forward 4. You would use defensive sidestepping to counter moves that are typically kind of overpowered if you can't sidestep them. So, but there are ways to get started with defensive sidestepping, and so I'm going to actually talk a little bit about those. And so there are two moves that you want to start defensively sidestepping when you're just starting out with sidestepping, and those are flips. So something like Asuka's 3+4 and while running moves like that. These types of moves tend to be very linear. So like if I take Asuka right here, right, I just record a 3+4. So this Asuka is just gonna do 3+4. If I'm just constantly sidestepping, sidewalking, I'll pretty much always evade that. And if I get a good look and think they're gonna do it, I can very easily sidestep that. Same with while running moves. They work the exact same way. Although watch out a little bit for some of those things like, you know, Claudio's and Dragunov's. These can track you a little bit better. But yeah, watch out for some of those. Some of them will require you to do specific things. But anyway, running moves and flips, rolls, those are the kinds of moves you want to start sidestepping. It's worth it to get hit by a bunch of them when you're first sidestepping, because stepping those moves is kind of separate from stepping a lot of other moves. So stuff like Lily's flips, King's flips, Lucky Chloe's flips, Xiaoyu's flips. Be a little bit more careful with Lucky Chloe and Xiaoyu's flips. For instance, Lucky Chloe, you generally want to sidestep her to the left, but you want to sidestep her back turned launcher to the right. That is your character's right. So those are the two types of moves that you want to practice sidestepping when you're starting out with sidestepping. And you'll have to forgive me if I make any input mistakes. I'm playing on Fight Stick. I am a pad player. Now that we're done with those two types of moves you want to start sidestepping, I want to cover two techniques that you would want to use, particularly when you're first starting out sidestepping, and also just ways of incorporating sidestepping into movement in general. So the first technique is sidestep blocking. So boom, I can sidestep into block. You can cancel your sidestep into any move actually. So I can do sidestep 1, and Asuka actually has sidestep moves. But anyway, you can cancel your sidestep into any action, and that includes blocking. So when you're not confident that you can sidestep a move, you can use a lot of sidestep blocking. So you can do just a sidestep into block, or do a short sidewalk into block. The thing with this is that the shorter you travel before you start blocking, well, the less you will evade. But sidestep blocking is pretty safe. You can get off a sidestep block quite reliably without getting hit. So I'm just sidestepping into block. Up, back, down, back. Up, back. Sidewalk into block. So that's the first sort of movement technique incorporating sidestepping. And then the next one is stair stepping. So what is stair stepping? Okay, so look at this. This is a basic backdash cancel. I'm canceling my backdash into down back. So back, down back up to back, and then neutral. That is a regular backdash cancel. Well, in stair stepping, instead of canceling the backdash into down back or crouch, you're canceling it into a sidestep. So back into up. So back down, back down, back down, back down, back up, back up. So why would you use this? Well, the thing is, you really only need to do 3 backdashes to get away from your opponent. So that's 1 backdash and 2 cancels, and you don't need to cancel into crouch anymore. It's actually kind of detrimental because you're going backwards too far. You're pushing yourself towards the wall. But really, when you're outside of a certain range, you would want to stair step. So the benefits of doing something like this is that you can constantly realign yourself to a favorable wall position. You can constantly realign yourself to a favorable wall position. That's one benefit, the wall position. 2, you can constantly buffer for sidestep moves. So Asuka has 2 very strong sidestep moves. Sidestep 2, which is one of her main keep out moves. This is an I-13 mid that's -9 on block. And then she's got her sidestep 4. It has a longer startup, a quick recovery, so you would want to use that at farther ranges. So yeah, constantly adjusting for wall position, constantly buffering sidestep moves. But also, you don't have to constantly do the sidestep. You can sort of just do a couple backbacks in there and just see if they're going to come at you with a wall running move. And that puts you in the perfect spot to start trying to defensively sidestep those running moves. And that's just back into down, or back into up. So this is what it looks like when you're kind of doing it faster. And you can also do that with when you're moving in. This is a good thing to do when you're sort of moving in, so that you're never really running straight at your opponents. That, and you're also constantly buffering for sidestep moves, constantly moving in favorable wall positions, and things like that. So that's the second movement technique. Okay, so we talked about types of sidestepping, some moves that you can get started with, defensive sidestepping. But really, this video isn't about defensive sidestepping. This is about offensive sidestepping, and I think the reason for this is it's much easier to get a handle on offensive sidestepping. So what is offensive sidestepping? Offensive sidestepping is basically you're sidestepping as part of a mix-up. You are sidestepping to add a mix-up situation to moves that wouldn't typically have a mix-up situation. And this is the easiest way to start sidestepping. So let's get straight into it. How does this work? Well, the thing is, we can assign a startup frame value to sidestepping. 6 frames. We can say that sidesteps have a startup of 6 frames. We can call them I6. So what does this mean for, you know, offensive sidestepping? Well, the thing is, we can actually go through our move list, our frames, and calculate. We can actually calculate the different, you know, moves that we can use to sidestep after we use them on block, basically. So the general rule of thumb, I explained that horribly. Anyway, general rule of thumb, if a move is -4 or safer on block, you can sidestep after it. As a general rule, -4 or safer. By safer, I mean -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, or +1 or something like that, you know. It's -4 or safer. You can try sidestepping afterwards. For example, let's take Asuka's down forward 1. Asuka's down forward 1 is not really good. It has pretty horrible range, right? And it's -3 on block. But you can still apply the down forward 1 mix-up to it, because -3 on block is safe enough for you to sidestep afterwards. So let's actually test this out with another move that is -3 on block that she has. 2-1. 2-1 is a it's a safe 12 frame punisher that she has, right? So let's test this out. So Asuka will do 2-1, and she sidesteps clean past my jab. And note, she's sidestepping to her right, which is towards Asuka's weak side. She sidesteps clean past my jab. She sidesteps clean past my 2-1. She sidesteps clean past my down 4-1. Let me try to input that a little faster. Yep. She sidesteps clean past my down 4-1. She sidesteps clean past my 3. Has my down forward 4. Back 3. Just about all of my regular moves that I'm gonna just throw out in the neutral, she sidesteps right past them. So what does this mean? This means that the onus would be on me to find moves that would counter that sidestepping. That is what that means. And this is, in my opinion, the best way to start sidestepping. So what you do is you go through your move list, find all your moves that are -4 or safer, and you can add a sidestep mix-up to these different moves. This includes fast lows. And yes, you can crouch cancel. You can cancel into crouch with up. So stuff like that, stuff like that. Or something like that. So that's pretty much it. You need to just go through your move list, find your moves, -4 or safer. But also, you're going to want to research into character sidestep directions, and it's not hard, okay guys? There's a chart that you can find, and the thing is, every time you fight a new character, just look up what their sidestep direction is during the loading screen. Just keep it on your phone or something. Look up their sidestep direction during the loading screen. Give it 2 weeks, you'll have them down. You'll have it down, everybody's sidestep directions. And then there are some moves that will have special considerations, like Kazumi. You typically want to sidestep Kazumi right, but like her while running too, you want to sidestep that to the left. But really, those situations are, there's only a few per character. Now the thing is, your opponent, if you're just mindlessly doing moves and sidestepping right, check this out. I can retrack by pressing forward. I can retract by pressing forward. However, if instead of doing just 2-1 into sidestep, wait, no, she did sidestep right. 2-run into sidestep right? If she did 2-1 into, and then just did a down 4-1 afterwards, something like that, you know, I would be more hesitant in just holding forward, and this is why this adds a mix-up situation to moves that don't typically have mix-ups. And this is why down 4-1s that are like -1 are so good. because of how well they can enforce that mix-up, allowing you to do more moves after down 4-1 is blocked. That's why it's not a good idea to just, oh, someone's doing down 4-1 into down 4-1, let me just immediately interrupt them with a jab. Asuka's a bit of a different case because you could reliably interrupt down 4-1 spam from Asuka with a down forward one. But anyway, that's a bit it for the video. Sidestep directions, look up your frames, moves that you can sidestep afterwards, -4, safer. For sidestep directions, pay careful consideration to other moves. Try to start sidestepping while running moves and flips like that. In the neutral, defensively, incorporate stair stepping and sidestep blocking. Do that a lot, like 2-3 into a quick sidestep block. That's pretty much completely safe. Okay, guys, and one more thing. So when you're busy, you know, sidestepping, using your sidesteps to create mix-ups, you know, how it dodges my jab and all my moves and things like that. Well, there are moves that I can use that will catch you. I just did one. Asuka's up 4-3 would catch that immediate sidestep. So the thing here isn't that it's not invincible, okay? You can't just sidestep everything somebody can do, right? Everyone will have some moves they can use to track you to their weak side. And some characters, everyone has like dedicated homing moves, things like that. Asuka's is forward 4. But here's the thing, dedicated homing moves are typically slow, right? So they will need to predict you sidestepping. They will need to be considering the sidestep mix-up. Or they can sort of just retrack you by pressing forward, but still, they would have to be looking for it, right? But yeah, forward 4 would ruin that, and forward 4 is plus on block, actually. So if you did a sidestep block, that actually puts it in my favor. But not every character has, like, plus on block homing moves, like Katarina doesn't, and Josie doesn't, even though Josie has a really good one. Her 3+4 is I-16. That's really good. If you think you're just going to sidestep and not pay any mind, that will catch you. But the thing is, all these homing moves like this, except for Asuka, are typically very minus on block. So the thing is, you are forcing them to use moves that are outside of the norm that might be, well, just kind of worse or slower, right? So if you're using this as a mix-up, instead of doing 2-3 into sidestep, if you instead do 2-3 into 2-3, you would beat the startup of my forward 4. So I have to be predicting you. So that is the point. You want to make them use worse moves to try and catch you doing offensive sidestepping, and you create mix-up situations because you don't have to do a sidestep. I could do down 4-1 into down 4-1. If I think you're going to do it forward 4, I could do down 4-1 into back 4. You guys get what I'm saying? So, I mean, yeah, that's how this works. So, yeah, hope this helps you out. Thanks for watching.